let's just do it.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to be taking apart or disassembling this 14 kilowatt hour Rhino battery from BigBattery. And I'll do my best to try to explain everything. Of course, I probably don't know everything inside. All right, so go over here on the side. We can turn that switch back on and see. There you go, there's all the cells if you wanted to see that real quick. Status. And then the main. So we're sitting at 69%. To take the top off here, there's some screws along the bottom. So there's one right there, two in the center, and then one right over here. And then if we go around to the top, a couple there, some in the center, and some on the end. Probably take off these two screws on this side. On the other side, I'll probably pull off some of these across the top, and probably the handle too. I'm not sure if that has to come off, but I'll probably take it off. And then the whole top or front should come off. So let's get to it. Come here, washer. Here we go.
Nope.
Oh wait, is that the last one? Nope, I got one more. Okay. Nothing really on the back of that, it's just a steel cover. Boom! Alrighty, there we go. Alright, so looks like we have two banks of batteries. I'm not exactly sure how it's wired yet, but we will find out. Alright, so I think what we'll do is just kind of start at the top and work our way around to the sides of the batteries and see what we got. Alright, so up here on the top, it looks like we have the active balancer. I want to say for the newer or later Rhino batteries, the active balancer is actually attached to a plate right over here. So if for some reason you manage to take yours apart, you know, your active balancer could be over here on the side. Anyway, 16S active balancer. These are pretty nice. I mean, I guess really you only use it probably when you first get the battery, because everything is always out of balance. So the active balancer will basically put everything into balance much quicker, and it basically assists the BMS that comes with this battery. So I think technically it's really only engaged at the very, very beginning. Anyway, there's not a whole lot to see on here. It's filled with capacitors, and I would imagine there's probably a bunch of resistors in here somewhere. I do see a couple of numbers on here, and I'll just try to read those to you. So JW12-16S active equalizer version 1.0. From there you got wires that come out the side, go across the top of the battery, and it's going to go past the BMS over to this other board. And this is pretty much just a breakout board so the active balancer can connect to, as well as the BMS. Alright, so if we follow that around off of this side, these wires go into the BMS. Brand on this BMS is Battery Evo, even though it is a JB-Diy BMS, which I'm kind of a big fan of. Anyway, the part number is AP20S003. It's a 16S, 48 volt, and 200 amps. Off of this side, you can see it does have the little Bluetooth antenna. At least I'm assuming that's what that is. Like I said in the last video, this is 4 AWG wire. It's rated for 200C, and this is the silicone super flexible wire. And from here, if we go towards the side of the battery, you can see it does have a temperature sensor right down here, and it also has a 60 volt to 12 volt converter. And I would imagine that is for the green LEDs on each side of the battery and the little display right up here on the top. Back of the display says Battery Evo JB-Diy LCD 02. Part number on this is 19040003. And it looks like the back of this screen also has some of this black silicone, which I'm guessing it's not completely waterproof. I think they're going for like an IP65. Alright, so from here, if we follow the negative cable, it goes through the grommet, and then it goes to the 300 amp fuse. And then from there it goes to the Anderson connector. All right, so from here we can see there is foam on each side of the battery, or at least there is foam on each side of the battery, and that runs the full length from top to bottom. In the center of the battery, it looks like we have 2 of their fire extinguishers. I'm not 100% sure that these batteries actually need it, since you can puncture them and really nothing happens. I guess a little more safety is always better. And if we follow that around, it's just kind of set at the end of this battery right here. And there's also one on the other side, which goes to the other set, or the upper set of batteries. So that's kind of cool. And it looks like how all of this is wired, at least the positive and negative. If you follow the blue wire right here, which is your battery negative, that connects to this battery right here. So this is going to be your most negative battery. There's actually 2 in parallel, and then it goes over to the other end, goes through the circuit board, then circles back around to this side, just goes back and forth all the way up. And then we have the most positive right over there, and that just kind of loops around and it goes right out to the Anderson connector right here. And if you can see, there is, let me move this out of the way here, connecting both of these batteries together, there is a smaller gauge wire right here, and there's actually another one down there. So there's 2, this is probably like 6 gauge wire, 2 of those connecting, you know, this series connection right here. So from here, then it goes down to the other side, comes back, you know, and does its whole back and forth thing, ends up right here on the end, which is the most positive battery. So that's pretty neat how they did all that. And of course, these wires right here, you know, are the balance wires for this pack right here. So we have an 8S right here and an 8S right here. So far, everything in here looks pretty damn good to me. The only thing I did notice is this little sticky guy right here. I would imagine he was stuck over here whenever, you know, when they put the battery together, and then the force from the wires just pushed it over here where it naturally wants to lay. I don't see any problem with that. It's not hurting anything. I guess if anything, it probably could be zip tied, you know, out of the way and over here. Other than that, everything looks pretty damn good to me. All right, I would really like to take this apart so I can pull out the batteries. I'm not sure how long that's going to take or if it's a good idea. Oh, okay, that might come off fairly easy.
Nope.
Caught right over here. I have some glue or some sticky stuff on the little fire extinguisher. Hopefully that doesn't go off in my face. There we go. All right, here we go. Boom! The underneath side of this cover does have this fish tape paper stuff right on there, so there's no metal contact or anything like that, so that's very nice. There are the sides of these badass cells here. I know it's not much different than what it looked like before, but there you go. Pretty badass. Now I know you guys would be pissed at me if I didn't try to take this apart, so that's what I'm going to do, because we want to see what these cells look like all by themselves. So the plan is, I'm not going to take this one out because most of this stuff up here, you know, is kind of stuck to this and I don't want to unstick it. So this one is going to stay there. What I'm going to try to do is pull out this whole brick right here if I'm able to. Then we'll disassemble this one right here. So in order to do that, there's a couple screws on each side which hold this brick in place. Once I have those out, I'm going to shift this down this way so I can get to the series connections and stuff over here. And then once those are disconnected, then I think I should be able to pull this out. Now, of course, nobody do this at home. I shouldn't be doing it either, but you know, that's what I do. In order to do all this, obviously you want to disconnect the BMS and then disconnect the battery cables. So that's what I'm gonna do here right now. All right, so BMS is disconnected. Might as well just disconnect these right here. I'm just gonna disconnect everything. How about that? All right, now the sketchy part. These are a 10 millimeter. Of course, I cannot find my little baby wrenches. I have no idea where those are at. Maybe I'll take off this side first if I can. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I'd like to have all this foam out of the way so I can get to this stuff, but I just don't see that actually happening. Because what I'm afraid of is if the nut falls down, it could potentially short something out. All right, new plan. I just happened to see this. I don't know how I didn't see it before, but there is this cover plate right here. There's a couple of bolts holding it down, and these two screws, and then of course there is glue holding it down. So I'm going to pull those out and the screws out and then unglue it so I can get to, well, I can get to all this stuff. All right, so give me just a second, we'll do that. Alrighty, so we finally have that little cover off, and you can see the PCB, how it connects each cell to each other. Now, this whole like brick of batteries right here is pretty heavy, and with my bad back, I don't think I can lift it by myself, and my helper is not here. So what I'm probably gonna do is take the cover off of this battery right here and pull off the circuit board on each side of the battery, so then I can maybe slip one of the cells out and we can take a look at that. That's gonna be the only way I can do it by myself. So it's gonna take a little bit longer, but let's get to it. All right, I don't know how well these are actually in here and whether I can even get one out. But I want one. Oh, I'm getting one. Maybe. Or two. All right, go. All right. Alrighty, finally, we got to the goods. Look at this thing. Hopefully it's in focus. Bad ass. All right. So here, let me move the camera so we can, I mean, I don't really know. There's not a whole lot to look on here, but it's a pretty badass battery. All right, there you go. Here is the badass Razor battery. Battery Evo, the Razor lithium iron phosphate cells. Model number is C102F. Capacity is 136 amp hours. Rated voltage obviously is 3.2 volts, and the energy is 435.2 watt hours. Barcode here, I'm not really sure what that goes to. And I'll just scroll through here the whole cell. We do have a little piece of tape there. I'm guessing the heat shrink ripped, so they just put some tape on it to cover up that open metal there. Same for this side here, if it's going to stay in focus. If the heat shrink dips a little bit, it looks like they put some tape on there to cover up the open metal side there. So there you go. Terminal side right here looks like it's welded on, and we do have a QR code there. Actually, there's two there. Other side looks to be pretty much the same if it'll focus, which it's not going to focus. Same thing, if there's any open metal, then they just cover this bad boy up. I'll go ahead and measure it for you. This end to there looks to be about 37 inches long by 3.5, and they are pretty much a 1/2 inch thick or just a little bit thicker, not too much. It weighs, we weigh 5 pounds 13 ounces, if you can see that on there, and if I go to kilograms, 2.635. All right, so these are pretty light, actually, not too bad. All right, and the circuit boards are right here, but there you go, there's both circuit boards. You can see how they parallel each cell together. You have the balance connector right there and all the little leads that go over to each bus bar, pretty much. There you go. I mean, there's really not much to see on those. You got bus bar on each side. Same for this one right here. They look to be pretty much the exact same board. You know, just opposite. There you go. The size of these wires right here, it doesn't say because there's not much on there, but it is the flexible wire. I would imagine these are probably 6 or 8 gauge. I can't really tell. Crazy. Crazy how they put this stuff together. I don't know if there's anything else that you need to see on this one over here. I mean, it's all pretty much the exact same. The heat shrink says Battery Evo. That looks pretty cool in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, this is pretty badass, pretty compact. You know, everything was in here nice and solid. Nothing was going to move. Everything nice and tight. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints in here quite yet. Everything is great. I guess one of the little sticky things over there, if you wanted to complain, came off, but I think that's just how the wires sit in here. Nothing really much you could do about that. I don't know. I'm liking it. All right, I guess I will throw it on a time lapse and put this bad boy back together and hook it up to my house so we can charge it up and use it some more. Alrighty, I'm pretty sure we got her all back together now and everything connected. So we're gonna go ahead and power it on real quick. Sorry for the shaky hands. Alright, so I was told that it would read 0 whenever I get it all back together. So I think once we start charging, all of that will reset. All right, so everything appears to be working correctly. Oh, we could even check the, all of that is still the same. And we're showing, let me just go ahead and turn that sideways for you. And we are showing every cell connected. So everything appears to be good. And the green lights aren't on because I still have the discharge off. So if we turn that on, the green lights do come on. Both of them do. So that's pretty awesome. All right, let me go ahead and just turn that back off for now. And I'll go ahead and put the cover back on and we'll hook her back up. All right, so this is a re-video piece right here. I was having some mic problems and recorded the whole section and didn't know it. So anyway, obviously we are hooked back up and we are charging. We're at 51% according to this. This isn't going to be 100% accurate since I disconnected everything. However, once I do a full charge and discharge cycle, you know, it will reset. So basically we're charging at 54 amps right now. We're at 53.71 volts, 51%. I would say the time to full is not accurate at the moment. And we're sitting at 3.4 volts for everything else. So looking pretty darn good here. And sorry for the shakiness, but here is the inverter. You can see we are connected to the grid with the little utility pole there. We're just not running off the grid. We're running off of solar and battery. So again, 53.9 volts. Solar's at 142 volts. And we're putting in 73 amps total. So my house is running off of like 23 amps. Or a little bit less than that actually, like 20 amps. So not bad. All right, so there you go. So everything is working out fantastic. That's pretty much all I got for the rest of this video. I don't want to waste too much of your time. I guess if you liked the video, don't forget to like the smash button. If you're interested in any of the Big Battery products, they did pass on a discount code to me, which is Joe10. That's 10% off on pretty much anything that they offer. Batteries, you know, kits, etc. It's not required, but it's always appreciated because I do get a small kickback for that, which helps me create the awesome videos. If any of you guys are still interested in solar and battery videos, you know, definitely check out the channel because I've got, well, tons of those as well. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. This 14 kilowatt hour. Come on, focus, dude. What is your problem? Focus. All right, there we go. One more quick little thing is I keep getting asked, will it start air conditioning, etc. I would imagine it would, but I haven't done that yet because it's just not on this panel over here. I just have to do some rewiring in my main panel back here because that is on a different panel. As soon as I get that connected, obviously I will do a video on that, which hopefully will be here soon. All right, that's pretty much all I got. I'll see y'all later.